Hey guys, welcome to my QBD guide focused on higher level players. Starting off, recommended stats to do this guide as effectively as possible and get the fastest and most effective kills. I recommend at least 85 herb lore is required for super anti-fires, or 96 is highly recommended for overloads. 92 prayer for soul split is once again required to keep you alive, and 95 is also going to be a huge help for turmoil or anguish if ranging. And as far as summoning, 68 for a tortoise is gonna do good. 88 for a uni is probably the best, and 96 for a yak is also good. I'll go over familiars later in this guide, but you're gonna need 60 just to be able to access the QBD in general. And then finally, 50 agility, highly recommended. Save you a lot of time running down the caves to get to QBD, which you'll see later, but if you don't have 50 agility, I'd recommend getting it because it's real easy and going to save you a lot of time. If you want to melee in this guide, I'd recommend having 90 attack for Drygore, 90 strength just for the highest damage output, and 70 defense for at least Bandos armor. And then once again, if you have Drygore, you're going to have a huge advantage, best melee weapons in the game, and you'll be looking at like 3-minute kills if you have that. So I highly recommend that if you want to melee. And if you want to range, then I would recommend 80 or 90 range for the best weapons, 70 plus defense for Armadyl or Pernix armor, and lastly, if you have Ascension, you're going to have a huge advantage. But if you don't have Ascension, Chaotic, or Royal Crossbows, if you have those are going to do pretty good as well and give you the highest damage output. So first up, I'm going to go over the melee setup for the best kills. I personally use Bandos, and I would recommend a damage armor, like an armor that gives damage boost as opposed to a tank armor. So therefore I would recommend a Bandos or Torva instead of a Tetsu or Barrows armor, simply because you're not going to be taking that much damage, and the more damage you do, obviously the faster the kills and the better. But you can use those if that's all you have, but like I said, Bandos or Torva is going to be the best. For the helmet, I use a Gano visor because it does add a bit of defense, and I have it toggled off in the avatar settings, which is why you can't see it, but it still gives the same defense boost. Weapons, like I've said before, gotta have Drygore. Chaotix will work too, but you're gonna struggle a bit if you have Chaotix, so definitely use Drygore. Ring of Wealth is gonna increase your drop rate, increase the rare drops, so definitely bring that if you can. Fury is a good amulet. And a TokHaar-Kal is a good cape, but you can also use a skill cape or a fight cape, fire cape, I'm sorry. And you can, for boots, I recommend Gano boots, and for gloves, Barrows gloves, Bandos gloves, or Torva gloves. Definitely a pair of melee gloves because they are going to keep your accuracy as high as possible. Alright, so now for the range setup. Definitely the best weapon you can use for range is going to be the Ascension Crossbows, but since they're about 600 mil for the set right now, I don't have those, and I'm not going to buy them. So if you have those, that is going to give you a huge advantage. But Chaotic Crossbows or Royal Crossbow will be about the same, and they'll do good damage as well. For bolts, I recommend Royal bolts, or if you're using Ascension Crossbows, definitely use Ascension bolts. Once again, Ring of Wealth, definitely recommended for increased drop rates. For the armor, Pernix is going to be the best, that's what I have, but Armadyl is going to be good too. And once again, try to stay away from tank armor such as Death Lotus or Karil's, but you can use those if you don't have Armadyl or Pernix. For a cape, you can use the Ava's Attractor, Accumulator, or I just like to wear a skill cape, doesn't really matter. I wear Gano boots and gloves. Ideally, if you have some range gloves, that would be better, and range boots as well, that would be better as well, but I don't have those, so I wear Gano boots. They're going to work fine just as well. Fury will work, that's what I'm using, but you could also use a Saradomin amulet or a Ranger's amulet. And then once again, for your aura, Penance or Vampirism, going to be the best. I'm wearing Vampirism now, but you can switch between those two or any other aura that suits you well. And then you'll be doing the best and most effective kills with the range setup as possible. So as far as familiars go, there's a lot of flexibility here. These are the three main ones that I'd recommend. If you're only 67, I'd recommend a Ward Tortoise, and if you're 88, a Uni, and 96, a Yak. For me, I personally use a Uni, but Uni or Yak will do about the same, depending on what you need. If you'd prefer to heal, then use a Uni, of course, and if you would rather bring supplies, then use a Yak. But other than that, it doesn't really matter. The banking's really quick and easy, although obviously the less banking the better. So if you find that you're using a lot of food, take a Yak or a Tortoise, and if you find that you are doing fine, you just need a little bit of extra healing, then bring a Uni. But if you're 88 summoning, definitely just use a Uni, don't use a Tortoise. Some other alternative familiars will be placed in the description below. These are the biggest three. But I would not recommend any Titans. I tried them; they suck. Thanks to Jagex for nerfing them. So don't use a Titan. Like I said, other alternatives will be placed below in the description. But these are the three main ones that are gonna do good for you. So first off is the melee portion. To get to the caves, obviously take a Port's Rim Lodestone. If you haven't activated the Lodestone, you can use a Amulet of Glory to tell you to Port's Rim, and then I'd recommend activating it because the Lodestone is going to be a huge help. The cave is just northeast. It's the dungeon icon marked on your map, and then once you climb down, there's going to be an agility shortcut here that requires 50 agility. It's going to be a huge help, so if you don't have 50 agility, I'd recommend getting it. And then you're here. Make sure your quick prayers are set to Turmoil and Soul Split before you go in, like I do here. And you don't need to pot up before you go in. There's going to be time to do that. And then you can pass through the summoning barrier, which requires 60 summoning to enter. Make sure you zoom your camera out, or else you won't be able to see very well. And then go ahead and pot up, activate your prayers, and then you can begin the kill. And the first phase is super easy. There's no souls, no fire waves, or any special abilities like that. Actually, I'm sorry, there is one fire wave. Which you can tank and just heal back with Soul Split, or you can heal back with your Uni if you feel the need to do that. And then as soon as the first phase is done, activate the artifact as soon as possible, or else it'll summon a lot of grot worms, and the less grot worms the better, especially when meleeing. And to dodge the souls, when it summons a tortured soul, it'll show up in your chat box. Just run through it like that. As soon as it summons its cloud attack, and then it will take the damage instead of you, and it's really helpful. After activating the second artifact, get back to this square right here to avoid. It'll allow you to avoid one firewall, and then tank the other two. Flurry on any souls that are remaining to kill them, and you can also use the damage you do to them to help with your Soul Split. And then last phase, if it turns blue like this, then use as many thresholds as possible, because your damage is going to be multiplied by like 2. It's ridiculous. The defense is so low, and then you'll take it out in one threshold, and that's it. Once you've activated the last artifact, take your loot. I recommend keeping Restores, Brews, and Rocktails, and then climb up to do another kill if you have sufficient supplies. So now for the ranged portion of this guide. Starting off, make sure your quick prayers are set to Anguish and Soul Split, and stand in this square just directly west of the artifact and stay there after overloading up. And once again, the first phase is easy, just Soul Split and attack. Range seems to be a lot more accurate than melee, but the damage is a lot less, at least for me with Chaotix. And once again, tank the fire, don't run. You'll be fine, and activate the artifact as quickly as possible. No grot worm should spawn if you're quick enough when you're ranging, one of the advantages to ranging. And then avoid the souls like normal. And as you can see, ranging is much safer, it seems, but it's definitely slower in the long run. Melee has, at least with Chaotix, it's slower than compared to Drygore. I'm assuming Ascension would be faster, but yeah. So continue to tank the fire wave. Standing in this square will allow you to dodge one of the fire waves, and continue to lower its health, and continue to dodge the souls just like you would if you were meleeing. You should be able to activate the artifacts much quicker because you can get close to them, and always kill the time-stopping soul. Whenever you get it, kill it as quickly as possible, or else it could use super hot flames and you're pretty much dead because you won't be able to eat or anything. So make sure you kill that. It'll show up. It won't show up in the box, but you should be able to hear it or notice it. It'll be in the corner. It'll start saying stuff to you. When it starts breathing the super hot flames, get to the side of the arena as quickly as possible, and you may want to stay there when ranging because you can still attack there. It's up to you. And then the kill's still pretty easy, still pretty quick. Go ahead, loot your chest, keep your rock tails, brews, whatever. Like here, I can get up to full health on brews and not have to send them to the bank. Just take them with me. So manage your inventory, get any more supplies you need to do more kills, and you can go ahead and climb up the ladder and do more kills if you want. Alright, so that wraps up our guide. I appreciate you guys watching. Hope it helped you out. And if you found that this guide really isn't good for you, you are a bit lower stats, don't really meet the requirements for all that, then be sure to check out my older QBD guide that I made a few months back. Show you how to do that with lower gear, no super anti-fires, no soul split, turmoil, any of that. So other than that, thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video. There'll be more of it, and I'll see you guys later.